Good evening. The teenage victim of the Taliban, Malala Yousafzai, says it's been hard settling into her new life in Birmingham. She's given her first interview to the BBC since arriving in this country. It was last October that Malala was shot in the head in Pakistan after speaking in favour of education for girls. She was flown to the UK to be treated in the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Birmingham. In July, on her 16th birthday, she addressed the United Nations in New York. And this week, she's a front-runner for the Nobel Peace Prize. Here's our reporter Holly Lewis on the remarkable story of the girl the Taliban couldn't silence.
Malala Yousafzai is the most famous schoolgirl in Birmingham, but speaking to Michelle Hussein for tonight's Panorama programme, she said coping with the recognition hasn't been easy.
Here they considered me as a good girl and the girl who stood up for children's rights and the girl who was shot by the Taliban. They never look at me as Malala, as their friend and as a normal girl.
It's a year ago today that Malala was shot in the head on her way home from classes, targeted by the Taliban for speaking up for the right to go to school. 6 days later, she was flown to Birmingham. Malala's story has now been told throughout the whole world. But one part of the story that is a bit less well known is the key role played by a doctor from here at the Birmingham Children's Hospital. Fiona Reynolds was part of a British delegation to Pakistan advising on a liver transplant service when a call came through to one of her colleagues asking for help.
Javed asked if I would fly with him to Peshawar on the Wednesday lunchtime to give an opinion on Malala's condition.
Fiona ended up staying on to advise on Malala's treatment and suggested Birmingham as a place for her rehabilitation.
I was an anonymous doctor at the centre of what was world news. Nobody except my husband knew where I was.
While most of the Pakistani community support Malala, some fear her celebrity is detracting from her message.
I just feel a lot is happening in Europe now, in England, and her associates, class fellows are being deprived of education, and we've taken our eye off that now.
There's other people out there in similar, maybe worse positions than her that are being overlooked.
I'm not sure what impact's being made in the regions that she was actually fighting for changes to occur in.
Malala's fame is only likely to grow. On Friday, she'll find out if she's the youngest person ever to be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Holly Lewis, BBC Midlands Today, Birmingham.
And you can see more on tonight's edition of Panorama. That's Malala, shot for going to school at 8:30 here on BBC One. Now, coming up later in the programme.